Okay, Mike Masato, CEO of Staff Driven Dental and the Dental Road Warrior, returning for episode 71 in the series. So, one of the benefits of the way we do our kind of coaching and the way we go about approaching a dental practice to help them achieve greater success is that we're there on site every day, working with practices hands-on all over. And it's an interesting dynamic. There's no substitute really for really being there, interacting with people one-on-one and seeing it for ourselves. So we don't live in an ivory tower, so to speak. Unfortunately, a lot of different companies that are out there today are remote and try to do this on the phone, or from a few thousand miles away in semi-retirement in someplace warm like Arizona, Florida, California. I am here in on the roads and the jungle of New Jersey and New York, doing it every day, and again, these are high stress situations, and again, if you can be successful here in this market as intensely competitive as it is, and there's so many dentists here everywhere, you really can make it anywhere. But the basic thing that I wanted to talk about today, and what we see and observe, is the way doctors in particular, as leaders, interact with their staff. And one of the core things I teach in my program and have my coaches teach is about the value of appreciation. Now, there's no doubt that this has come up. This is episode 71 in prior episodes. I named the company Staff Driven Dental for a reason. I didn't name it Mike Masato's Great Consulting Firm. I named it Staff Driven Dental because it says something. It's a brand. It talks about the value of importance and the critical nature of staff right in the title of the company. I was a staff member at one time. I wasn't some dentist who made multi-million dollars in practice and say, now be like me and do it exactly the way I did and you'll be successful. That may work for some people, but that doesn't work for everybody. So I have the benefit from a staff perspective of being someone that was highly appreciated and highly acknowledged and highly trained by a doctor way back when in marketing, for new patient marketing, believe it or not, in a different field, an alternative medicine field. And he invested a lot in me. He took a lot of time to send me to consulting and get coaching to become better. He had the raw materials in me. He saw something in me, and he developed it. And he appreciated that. He valued that. So I want to talk a little bit more about appreciation, because it's one of those things that is something we forget. The intangibles in practice, the intangibles in managing your practice. It's not all about dollars and cents every day. It's not all about the schedule every day, or the new patients every day, or what treatment is lined up for me to do today. Right? This is the human interaction part of things that we fall short on, and one of the things is we don't appreciate enough. It's human nature that we are more critical of others than appreciative of them, and recognize them and being positive about their good parts. It is, and just we see with patients. How often do they you get appreciation from them? It's almost like, well, I paid you money, I expect you to give me treatment, and that's about as far as it goes. But your favorite patients are the ones that always recognize and acknowledge you and appreciate you for what you do, verbally, and showing it through emotion and affection and in other ways of things they do, whether it's a gift, a testimonial, a referral. They're showing you appreciation. It's a valuable thing to do. It's a valuable element of human interaction is appreciation, and we don't do enough. And appreciation, if you want to, comes from the Latin word I'm not going to say the word right, so I'm not going to try. But it's a Latin word, that the word appreciation comes from it, and the word in Latin means to prize. All right, the word appreciation comes from the word to prize. Right, prize and value something. How often do we prize and value our staff docs? How often do we prize and value our patients, for that matter? And this is by verbally showing it and having it come from the heart and really mean it. And when you interact with people that way, it goes a long way. This is what people want. They want to be recognized. They want to be appreciated. They want to be valued. It's not enough that we just do great dentistry. It's not enough that you pay your staff well and give them a job. It goes far beyond that. There's a little write-up, and I believe me, I have this set up so I can read this without having an accident, so don't worry about it. You can't see it, it's not in your field of vision, but it's in my field of vision. All right, but I want to read this little excerpt that I teach to my clients. It's a great little write-up I read in a book one time about appreciation. And it goes something like this: being appreciative, expressing appreciation, and receiving appreciation have got to be among the most obvious skills one would seek to learn. Why? Because everyone loves to feel appreciated. It brings out the best in people and makes them act nicer, perform better, and feel better about themselves. When people feel appreciated, they are on top of their game. They are more creative, more resilient, more loyal, and generally fun to be around. I've yet to hear a single person ever tell me I feel too appreciated. In contrast, in contrast, I've heard I don't feel appreciated thousands of times. So although the value seems obvious, it's somewhat rare that someone well-versed in this special and important is well-versed in this important dynamics of appreciation. All right. Sorry if I botched that a little bit. But anyway, you get where I'm coming from. This it's such a valuable thing that we neglect. And it's something you got to work in. It may not be natural to you. I teach an exercise about appreciating your patients, where I tell the doctors and hygienists, just for a week, try this out. Before diving into treatment, pull up a chair, knee to knee, face to face, no masks, no other barriers in the way, no tray table, don't talk from behind them, and sit down with your patient and say, hey, Tom, great to see you today. I want to let you know before I start today, I really appreciate you as being my patient. And you've been coming here for 10 years, and you've referred your family, and they've come in, and you have other places you could go, but you choose me, for your dental health care needs and your needs of your family. And I want to tell you that's valuable to me, and I really appreciate it when I thank you for being my patient. Now, they probably have a heart attack if you did that. Some of you, like, who possessed my doctor? If you said that for some of you, but it's a nice thing to do. It takes 20 seconds, 30 seconds to do, and it goes a long way. To do that with people. Do this for a week and see what happens. See the response you get from your patients. But again, this is something you should do with your team all the time. And let them know and verbally express to them how much you really appreciate them, and recognize them for all the amazing and wonderful things they do on your behalf. We know these. Granted, no one's perfect. We know people screw up. They make mistakes. Okay, but if you want to pound on their mistakes all the time, and not appreciate them for all the great things, you're not going to get staff that's going to stay, loyal to you. And there's a great quote that goes like this: always show appreciation. What's taken for granted will eventually be taken away, and then you will end up missing what you least appreciated. All right, you'll end up missing most what you least appreciated. In other words, you don't recognize how good you have it or how good you had someone until they're gone. And this is what happens with staff all the time. Come on, you know how hard it is in this day and age to find good people. I hear this all the time from my doctors. It's been an age-old thing. And granted, we find them, but why continue to go through that? It's very damaging to the practice to have to cycle through staff all the time and keep losing people. And a lot of times we lose people not because of bad pay or whatever like that, or working. It's because they don't feel appreciated. They don't feel liked and loved and wanted in the practice and valued by you as an owner. And again, don't neglect your staff. They want this attention from you. It is a valuable tool. It's a valuable skill set, but you got to really mean it. It's got to come from your heart. And it can't be fake. And if you don't feel like you can appreciate your staff, if you don't feel that way about your people, maybe you should look at the kind of people you have. Docs, if that's the way it is. And why are you paying them for that if you really don't feel they're valuable? You don't believe you can prize them. And they're just they're worth paying, and that's it. So really take a look at that, right? But again, it's a valuable tool. Utilize it. All of this is human relations, and this is an area where coaching comes in, because I can tell you from being on site with practices with my coaches, the biggest frustration we have all the time in on site and in coaching practices, right? It's not the putting in the systems, it's not putting in the script, it's not changing the way we do things in the practice. That's not the difficult part. Making doctors money, when you change these systems and policies in the practice, is not the difficult part. The challenging part is all the personal stuff. It's all the personality issues. It's all the intangible things that come up that we all have, our quirks as human beings, that get in the way of success, right? And not appreciating your staff, and each other as a team, all right? And your patients. This is a big area of sabotage in your practice by not recognizing this, okay? So it's not all about marketing. It's not all about the next great script and the next great gimmick and next great this or that in the practice, next great internet thing. Really, let's start with this in your practice and see how your environment will shift to a more positive environment. And we all talked about how a more positive environment, when you have an environment of appreciation and an environment of acknowledgement, or how much morale goes up, and then again, morale and production are synonymous. All right, so again, I hope I didn't botch this too much in my driving. There's a lot of information trying to get there and get it right when I'm driving. You have to limit that and balance that with being safe on the road. I've heard that many times in my comments. But thanks for watching this video. If you enjoy these videos, please share them out there, spread the word, and I'll be back with another episode before you know it. Thanks for watching.